Good morning. Good morning so much. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm getting ready to teach chapter one out the insurance Fordney book. Uh oh God, I knew I should have put a slip on underneath this thing. Anyway, good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, hold on just a moment. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so this morning we're going to talk about role of an insurance billing specialist. Role of an insurance billing specialist. This is in the workbook, 14th edition, and I'm using an older edition, the 14th edition here. And the reason why I'm using the 14th edition because they changed three or four. I'm sorry, my husband is talking. Give me one moment. he took a wrong step down, so he'll be okay. He will be okay. He's blood sugar was low, and so he needs to take his blood. He needs to eat something sweet, yeah, to get his blood sugar. Okay, so let me log into my teacher access stuff. Let me log in. Give me one more moment. You still trying to decide where you want to sit? Okay. If you need to, okay. Oh, okay, pumpkin. No worries. No worries. Okay. Okay. Hold on just a moment. Okay, so chapter one. Chapter one. We're talking about role of a medical billing specialist here. And what this, yes, in the workbook. In the workbook. I'm going in the workbook here. Okay. And so we're going to go over the key terms, and then I will do my lecture. I'm trying to find my book, and I don't see it. Okay. All right. So the role of an insurance specialist, let me explain everything that we do, and I'm talking also to YouTube. Everything that we do in medical billing and coding plays a role in health information systems. So we have to be mindful that that everything that we do, it plays a role in that. So this is part of revenue cycle management. So revenue cycle management has a lot to do with front office, all the way to the middle portion of the office, all the way to the back portion. So when I get a chance, I'm going to do a breakdown study of that, so that you will understand your place in the workplace. But it's all capsuled under health information management. Now, the health information technology is encapsulated inside of the health information management. Health information management covers everything that health information technology does, except it's more on the administrative level. So you're dealing with compliance, you're dealing with management, the time flow, the surveying of the hospital when you get those beautiful survey forms in the mail, or now that they're texting them to your home now or emailing them to you, you get those beautiful surveys, and we need to know how was business conducted when you came to visit the doctor in the office. This came into play when Obamacare took place. So it's a big deal now. It's a very, very big deal. Okay, so we're going to look at the answer key here for the, I'm sorry, not the answer key, the worksheet for chapter one. The worksheet for chapter one. Okay, so we're going to look at what AMA means, what ACA means, AHEMA. I'm going to dabble a little bit on each one of those. AMA, ASHD, CAP, everybody knows what email is. GED, HIPAA, listserv, MSHP, MSO, and NPP. Now, for the one that says AAMA, okay, Jane, you want to tell me what AAMA means? What does AAMA mean? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, that's AHEMA, but AAMA, and I'm about to tell you what that is in a minute. Okay, so e- mhm. Okay, let me Google it because it's not in my workbook or answer sheet. Okay, so the American Association of Medical Assistants. The American Association of Medical Assistants. So, what that is, mhm, American American Association of Medical Assistants. So, what that is medical. Being a medical assistant is comprised of learning the clinical side and the administrative side. So you know a little bit on the nursing side, and you know some of the administrative side. So the reason why they have that in here is because for medical assistants they can do front and back office. So I just wanted to bring enlightenment to that. So in case a medical assistant is interested or would like to know some of what you do, not so much to take your job, but to help you in those places when you're overwhelmed, when you're backlogged, when you need some help or you need a day off, they can step in under their same credentials and still help you do what you do. So I just wanted to shed a light on that. Now, AHIMA, since you spoke of AHIMA, AHIMA, that is American Health Information Management Association, and those have various credentials where they speak of the Registered Health Information Administrator, the Registered Health Information Technologist. They have various other certifications that you don't need a degree for, which I have said time before, is that it's very lucrative to have a lot of certifications under your belt, and you can have all the degrees you want, but these days, in the 2000 opinion, my professional opinion, my gratuity, is that it weighs just as heavy as a degree. It does. Okay. So I want to enlighten you and other folks to know that, you don't, I mean, have a degree. Yeah, that's great to get into the management of things, but to make the money that you would like to make, you can have that with different certifications. Okay. All right, so let's go on to the next acronym, which is ACA, which is the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act, which is a comprehensive healthcare reform law enacted come March 2010, sometimes known as Obamacare. As you know, it's known as healthcare reform. We had one president that was recently in office. I will not talk about my political view. Uh, as you could tell about my tone, what side I'm on. Definitely not his. And I'm gonna put a caveat right there. Definitely not his. They try to make it Trump care, okay, but that did not work too well. Okay, Obamacare healthcare reform is for everyone, and the law has three primary goals. They try to make it affordable health insurance available to more people. They try to have laws that provide consumers with subsidies, premium tax credits that lower costs for household incomes between 100% to 400%. However, that's economical math. That's dealing with statistics and economics. So that's a whole nother different type of math. But what I've known through some of my colleagues that sell it, they have three different packages. So they have the first tier, second tier, third tier, and it depends on what you want to pay for, what you're qualified for. Well, first of all, they go according to your qualification, and then normally, if you're qualified to have it for free with no monthly payment, you can. Some for nominal payment. It may not be as nominal to your budget, but according to the statistical math, it's supposed to be nominal, and so forth. Okay, so we'll talk about deductibles, co-insurances, out of pocket. We'll talk about that all a little bit later. Okay. The AMA is the American Medical Association. The American Medical Association. So what that does, it it helps give, how can I say, in other words, coding to what doctors do in the hospital. Okay. And so what I'm going to explain one day on my beautiful board that's behind me, my writing board, uh, is that diagnosis codes are and procedure codes. They help us know what type of work you've done and what type of condition the patient was in. What type of work you've done and what type of condition the patient was in. Okay. So what it does through healthcare financing administration, the healthcare financing administration help give the RBVS the revenue billing codes to the AMA CPT codes. Okay, so AMAs are the ones that write these beautiful CPT books, and I don't have one near me to show you, but I will have one on the next time. The beautiful CPT books. And in all 52 United States, some people say 50, but it's 52 United States, including Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, that makes 52. These codes are regulated. They're regulated so that no one is overcharged, no one is undercharged, but it's charged according to the government standards and according to what CMS funds and then filters down from CMS. Okay. ASHD. I can't even get my words right. This mean. Okay, so arteriosclerotic heart disease, ASHD, that's a term that's common cause for morbidity and mortality in Western society. So few studies have determined prevalence and predicators of ASHD in hemophilia, which is another acronym, HA, a population of whose survival is improving with safer blood products and effective treatments for those that have AIDS and hepatitis C. Okay. CAP. CAP. What does CAP mean? Let's go in here. Let's find out what CAP mean. CAP. Claims assistant professional. Very good. Thank you, Jane. Thank you so much. Claims assistant professional. I know it's funny. Claims assistant professional is one that assists the billing professional. Hold on. Let me take a drink of water. Give me just a minute. I'm parched. Mm. Okay. So, um, normally, when you go to school for medical billing and coding, and I usually tell all my students this, once they finish this program or any other vocational school program, you usually put on an externship. Now, there's a difference between externship and internship, and then I explain about claims assistant professional. Externship is that you do so many free hours of work. Okay. And then with that, you're being a claims assistant professional. You're learning the documentation of the SOAP notes. You're learning how the front desk office operates, how they collect co-payments, how someone checks in. All that matters because if a person doesn't check in and you mistakenly put the copay under a patient that did not check in versus the one that did, we have a tracking system to know, okay, well, this person didn't come in. We don't have any soap notes for this person. We don't have any what you call that paperwork that the patient has seen the physician. So therefore you must have mistaken this patient for this patient right here. When we count the till at the end of the day, how much money you collected, how much money was charged, all that matters at the end of the day. The merchant costs, all that, we have to know. We have to line all that up to the timesheet. Now, as you know, Jane has previous experience, and so I'm talking also as if those that don't have an idea or a clue, but Jane has an idea. Jane is on my Bluetooth. Jane has an idea of what I'm talking about. So we have to go back and match everything from the front office. That's why I said it's three parts to the revenue cycle management to health information technology. And that's the front office, the middle office, the back office. Okay. All right. So, and that's where you, the externship person that's coming through a federally funded school that you got financial aid for, that you got maybe various scholarships and grants for, you have to do 180, sometimes 200 hours of externship because no one is going to let you work just flatly on there. And did the coders fall short? So, and then once you finish all those hours, then you may be honored with a job as the medical biller and you're still learning, or you may be honored as a job as a medical records specialist or a front office person. And it depends on how well you catch on, you do good. Sometimes there's an opening for a supervisor position or a team lead position. They may even put you in that spot because there's a need for that. But I want to put that out there to those that have never been in the profession before. Please be aware, you may not get the billing job right away, but if you get any other compartmental jobs within there, take it, and then it'll open up doors for you. The more experience you have, the more knowledge you have, the more versatile you are, the more l'argent, the more money you can make. Okay, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay, now email. There's a way to have email etiquette in the office. Okay. um, and when you have an email address that's assigned to you, or you may be that executive administrative assistant to that physician or to that manager, you have to write with some sort of poise and etiquette. You cannot type the way you text. You cannot type the way you talk. It has to be some a fashion of subject verb agreement, and it has to have some sort of substance to what you're saying. Okay, so all that is a big difference between personal email and work email. So I just want y'all to keep that in mind. Okay, GED. Can anybody tell me what GED means? What is GED? Okay, so GED means General Education Diploma. General Education Diploma. And just to put a little caveat out there, a general education development. But just to put a little caveat out there, I do also own a GED school. So I'm very passionate about helping those that didn't get a chance to finish high school to get their GED, be it online, be it in person, which is coming soon. Um, you will have an opportunity to get your GED, but that's a separate conversation for later. But just to give you a brief history about GED, GED was founded for those that were going to war. They were founded for those that were, um, that was being drafted for the Vietnam War and other wars at the age of 17, sometimes 16, and they were drafted out of high school. They didn't get a chance to finish. Well, once they come back, and to those that survived the wars, they have an opportunity to still come back and attain their GED and finish. And I want to say a salute and my hats off to all the military veterans, no matter what branch of service you have served in. My hats off to you all, my uncle, my brother, my brother-in-law. It's a lot of everyone in my family and those that I know abroad that have served into the military. Thank you for your service. I really, really love that. Thank you for your service. Okay, HIPAA. HIPAA. Who can speak to me about HIPAA? Health inform. Uh-oh. HIPAA. I was about to give it away. Jane, you want to tell me about HIPAA? Mhm. Yes, yes. The rules, the regulations, the requirement for HIPAA, the privacy about HIPAA. Does anyone know what president put this in act? What president put this in act, the HIPAA? It was President George, is it George Clinton? No, not George Clinton. Bill Clinton. I say George Clinton because I'm thinking about a song. Bill Clinton, President Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, the saxophone player. That's right. That's my man. That was the one that brought Philadelphia with Tom Hanks. That talks a lot about HIPAA. And I usually have my students to watch that movie. So if you are not familiar with the movie or haven't seen it or forgotten some parts about it, I would really admonish you to watch the movie Philadelphia. You can get it on YouTube. I don't know if it's free on YouTube. You can get it on Google, I think Google Movies or something like that. You can watch it. But it speaks about a person that was a lawyer that had AIDS and he had certain um, mm, red blemishes, if you will, or blisters on his face that looked like ulcerations of some sort. And people in the office were rather curious of what was going on with him because he was constantly breaking out and he was becoming weak and sick, and his hair was falling out. So he had a partner, which was his lover, his boyfriend, to help take care of him. But as he got promoted, his sickness got found out and it was stripped away from him because people at the office got nosy to find out what was going on with him. So HIPAA protects you from employers. HIPAA protects you from folks you don't want in your business per se, not even your family members. And so that's why they always ask you when you go to the doctor's office, who do you want to have access to your medical records or health or your information as far as you being in the hospital? Who can the doctors talk to? Can we leave a voicemail message on your phone? So, as a person working the front office at a doctor's office or at a facility, those are necessary. So if a patient ever asks you that, it's very necessary because it protects us as providers and it protects you as the patient. Okay. And when we get to coding, I will give you a funny, how can I say, example. It's not a true example, but it's a real situation that could happen. I imagine it probably has happened. So that's why, even with your husband or your wife, if you do not want them to be spoken to about your health condition, then the patient cannot release that information. Anytime that you're the physician, I'm sorry, anytime that you're the spouse, a family member, or maybe even a friend or a loved one, you when you call, they're going to ask you, or they should ask you your name, and they're going to go back and see were you listed to be released this information, and they're going to come back and tell you, I'm sorry, ma'am, but we can't share that information. Did you have a question, Jane? Okay. Okay. So that's what it does. So Clinton, that was um, made into office to help protect things. And also now that we have technology and all these beautiful things, and I found myself filling out a HIPAA form going to get dialysis. Everybody on YouTube knows I'm on dialysis. So uh, in house, they made me fill out a HIPAA form. So they told me you can talk to people on video, you can record things on the video, but you can't record the nurses or the other patients in the office. That's a HIPAA violation. And you could be, as a patient, if that's found out on your video that you recorded someone in the background or somewhere, seen. Um, you can be liable for that. Okay. If there's any breach of confidentiality, you will be fined and or prosecuted for that. Okay. And there is within the health information management, health information technology field, if you choose to get a bachelor's or an associate's degree in that, you can become a CIO, which is called a chief information officer. And that chief information officer would be the one that covers all the HIPAA laws, rules, and regulations, and you constantly doing continuing education courses on that to help protect the facility. Okay, MSHP. Ooh, excuse me for burping. I'm so sorry. MSHP. Does anyone have an idea what is MSHP in the health field? Okay, it's definitely not Mississippi State Highway Patrol. Okay, so MHP, and I'm not really sure what that is, but I don't have my answer key in front of me to tell you what that is. So we'll revisit that another time. What does NPP mean? What does NPP mean? N as in Nancy, PP mean. I'm here. I'm looking it up on the Google here. 'Cause I can't find my book to lecture from. It's in a box somewhere, and I'm like, God. Well, it's a notice of privacy practices. Notice of privacy practices. So when you go to a physician's office and they tell you, again, right along with HIPAA, if you charge your card at the doctor's office, if you happen to write a check at the doctor's office, if the doctor does an EGD, and Jane is familiar with that EGD, and one of the physicians do pictures of it, you know, they can't just put it on YouTube. They have to have your permission to do that. And that's a separate permission form for what they call a press release. Okay, so this is called a press release. So anything that you say that you're giving permission to be shown is on the press release. Okay, it's on the press release. Yes, yes. Did you find something different? Okay, in it's okay. NPP is a document that tells your patients, employees, and clients how their health information may be used and shared, and lists their health privacy rights. Notice of privacy practices. Does your book state something different? If it does, let me know. Because I don't have I can't find my lecture book. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Okay. So NP. Okay. So NPP means nurse practitioner. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Okay. Oh, a non-physician practitioner. Okay. Okay. I'm seeing it right here in front of me. Non-physician practitioner. Okay. Got you. Got you. Got you. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Jane. I appreciate that. So, according to chapter one, that's in the book, and I'm open to that. Thank you. It's non-physician practitioner. So you're right. It consists of physician assistants, nurse practitioners, others that don't quite have a medical degree, but they're one step down below a physician. And those are individuals that work for the physician under their license, although they do have their own provider number, they do have their own information, but they're one step below. So everything rides on that physician's license, but it still have some sort of liability on the ones that work in the physician's place when he's not there or she's not there to care, or when they're too busy, and that those folks are just as qualified to see a patient. You're right. Thank you so much, Jane. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's read fill in the blank. Let's read fill in the blank. Um, Now, number one, it says read the job descriptions in chapter one of the handbook. The ability to input data, transmit insurance claims correctly, either directly or through a clearinghouse, as well as update and maintain software applications to requirements of third party payers, is a technical skill required in the job of a or an. So, what is that first answer for that? Does anyone know? Okay, so I'm on part one, the fill in the blanks, the fill in the blanks. Mm-hmm. And I was asking I was reading number one, and I was asking the answer for number one. The answer for number one. I thought I had it up here. Give me a minute. Hold on. Oh, it's under word. Okay. All right. So it's a electronic claims processor. Electronic claims processor. Number one, electronic claims processor. Okay. Number two, name some of the facilities where facility billing is being used. Name some of the facilities where facility billing is being used. Hospital, hmm which is known as emergencies. So a hospital facility. Another word that's listed there is acute care hospitals. Emergency facilities, those standalone rooms that everyone see popping up every corner of the world. Okay. Another facility, name me another one. Okay. Mm-hmm. No. Okay, so I'll list it. It's acute care hospitals, which is hospitals in plain, inpatient hospitals, same thing. Skilled nursing facilities. Hold on, I'm hiccuping. Those are ambulatory surgical centers. That's another name for it. Ambul- Ambulatory surgical centers. That's the name for it. Surgical. Uh-huh. Ambulatory surgical centers. Rehabilitation centers. Long-term care facilities. Skilled nursing facilities. So there's about five of them. Acute care, I repeat them: acute care hospitals, skilled nursing facilities, long term care facilities, rehabilitation centers, ambulatory surgical centers. Those are the five. So there's different genre of names for them that you just listed, Jane. So but they're all relatively the same, what you just listed. They're all relatively the same. Okay, let's go on to number three. Number three says name examples of non physician practitioners. Jane, I'm gonna let you take that away. Jane, tell me. You listed to me earlier, so I'm gonna let you give it to me again. You got it. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. And the physician assistant. Uh-huh. Okay. And then I think the one you were trying to get out was certified nurse anesthetist. Certified nurse anesthetist. Or the ones that do the anesthetist. Uh-huh. Yeah, they're the ones that do the anesthesias. And trust me, I've had lots of surgeries where I've talked to a lot of CNAs, and I tease them, and I tease them. I said, just give me the feel good. Just bypass the signing, give me the feel good. But that's my little inside joke. That's how I handle my surgeries. I like to joke around. So it keeps me light in thought. Keeps me light in thought. Yeah. Okay, let's look at number four. Identify three career opportunities, which are job titles, available after training. I'm in the workbook on number four. Um, in diagnostic and procedural coding and insurance claims completion. Does your number four read like my number four on page three? Mm-hmm. 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 Yes, you can. Uh-huh. So you have a yes, medical billing specialist or medical. I'm sorry, insurance billing specialist. That's what it is right there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, electronic claims processor. Okay. Reimbursement specialist, medical billing representative, senior billing representative, insurance counselor, collections manager, coding specialist, and claims assistant professional. Okay. So those are some of the ones right there. Those are some of the ones right there. So, an insurance billing specialist or a medical biller, they're relatively the same. They're relatively the same, and so they just do billing, But they also make sure that once they put all the billing in, that it goes through the clearinghouse immediately, right then. It does. That's how the system works. And then once it goes through the clearinghouse, then it will tell them what percentage went through clean and what percentage came back dirty. That's the term that we use in the insurance billing profession, is that what went out as clean claim, what came back as a dirty claim. And so that's the difference between those right there. Then we have the reimbursement specialist. So the reimbursement specialist, they're the ones that works for accounts payable and accounts receivable. Accounts payable and accounts receivable. Okay. Accounts payable can be comprised of, they make sure that the doctor's uh, uh, mortgage for their clinic is paid, or their rent for that facility is paid. They make sure that the insurance is paid. They make sure everyone, not everyone, that's HR, but they make sure that everything in the office that helps the operation management get paid. That's what accounts payable does. And then another layer to accounts payable is making sure all the providers or the non-physician uh, practitioners are paid. Okay, so meaning that if a check comes in under that uh, NPI number for that physician, okay, and but yet that work is credited to a nurse uh, practitioner or a physician assistant, that goes in a certain slot and it gets collected in there. And at the end of the year is what gives us the true salary range of what those practitioners made at the end of the year. Okay. So that's all accounted for, what they made, but they still get a consistent salary no matter what. They still get a consistent salary. It's just at the end of the year when they tally up everything, and that's when they give out those lovely bonuses in the office that we all like to get with at the Christmas party, right? Everybody likes to get those Christmas bonuses. So that yeah, Jane says, right, right. uh, that helps us know. Okay, we've got, everyone has gotten paid. Everyone will, get a bonus, and then whatever is residual from that will go into next year's pot, so that when we have our annual how can I say, HR functions for each employee, that would tell us, do they get a 5% raise, 2%, 1%? That would tell us what they get. Okay. So, but everyone would get a nice, or should, I can't say for everybody, but everyone should get a nice little bonus check. Okay. And, okay. So, medical billing representative. Now, a medical billing representative is someone, they don't exactly do billing, they can, but these are ones that help make sure that the process goes smooth. They help make sure that the authorization numbers are there. They make sure that the patient's insurance is correct. Now, the insurance billing specialist, that's their job, is to verify the insurance, make sure that the person has insurance, make sure that the person is not terminated, make sure there's coordination of benefits. But the medical billing representative is the go between the insurance billing specialist and the medical biller. They're the coordinator between the two. Okay. Sometimes I will say this. Sometimes if you work for a multidisciplinary or a multifaceted type physician facility that has like 5 or 6 physicians, maybe even 10, or some that's big as Kelsey Siebold that we know in Houston, then you can have a job that does that and that all day long. Okay. But if you work for a single preparatory, okay, type a solo type practice or a practice that has 2 physicians, your job may have to be the insurance billing specialist and the medical biller, or your job may have to be the reimbursement specialist and the medical billing representative, or sometimes your job is all four. And we'll talk about that a little later, about how to break down your time in an 8-hour span, how to make good use of your time in an 8-hour span. Now, doesn't mean that you're going to 100% get everything done productively, all 4 titles. But if it's overwhelming, then what that tells me as a consultant, if that's overwhelming for one person, then me as a consultant, that's my role. I will tell the office manager or the physician, hey, you need a budget to hire someone to do this. He or she can't do all of this. You need to hire someone to do this. If you don't have the budget for it, you need to hire someone part time to take care of this. Or sometimes you can hire 2 part-time people. One do this and one do that. Every little bit helps, but you don't want to burn out your employee. Okay, that's the last thing, in my opinion, that employers should not do is burn out your employee or stress them to where they develop an illness, acute or chronic. And trust me, there's a lot of illnesses that can be turned out from a lot of stress. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, I was drinking. Sorry. Okay, now let's talk about senior billing representative. Okay, your senior billing representative. These are people that have had 3 to 5 years experience. Okay, they're multifaceted. They know all about utilization review. They pretty much know everybody's job in the office, but they're effective in getting their work done, and they've done it for over 3 to 5 years. Those are your senior billing specialists. So if you're a person that's had over 3 to 5 years plus, you may want to go for those type of jobs there. And again, they pay pretty good. They really, really pay pretty good. Insurance counselor. Insurance counselor, that's the one everybody dreads to visit in the office, right? Nobody wants to talk to the insurance counselor. Oh my God, where's the cross? I don't want to deal with the insurance counselor. Here's my cross. Do I have to deal with you today? No. Okay. All right. So, with the insurance counselor, they're going to tell you, okay, you have a deductible. Let's just say, for example, your deductible it's real, $2,000. Okay. And your co-insurance is 20% or 30%. Okay. And so between a cost of what the insurance would pay to 30%, and then a portion of what the deductible is what they're charging you. So let me give you a prime example. Okay, so say for example, you're working at a outpatient facility, okay, ambulatory care. You're having some sort of toe surgery. Okay, I'll say fasciitis, fasciectomy. I had that. Okay, so I'm getting a fasciectomy, right? Okay, and let's just suppose at that time my insurance deductible is for that is a $2,000 deductible, and then my insurance will pay 20%. The total cost of the insurance, and I'm just rambling numbers, I'm sorry, the total cost of the procedure is $10,000. You're like, oh my God, $10,000? Yeah, $10,000. Okay. The doctor got to get paid, the facility got to get paid, all the instruments and betadine, that's got to be replaced, that got to get paid. The nurse anesthetist, Some portion they're gonna get their cut, So they're gonna say, okay, so 20% of, what did I say, $10,000? What is 20%? That's $2,000, okay? And then yeah, so that's 20%. So that's $2,000, and then they say, okay, we'll take a third of your $2,000 deductible. So a third of that would be $600. So you're going to have to pay up front $2,600, in order to have your surgery. They'll tell you, we take cash, check, credit card, cashier's check. We'll even take healthcare. Not healthcare reform. We'll even take your flex account from your card, and I'll explain but there's another name for it. I can't get the name for it. Um, but there's a name for it. I can't get it right now. But your flex account from your card that you have set up from HR that takes out money to say this is your healthcare credit card, okay? And let's suppose you have $5,000 on it. You're like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to charge $2,600 on my $5,000 flex card from my job that they put aside for me to use, because that's upfront money. That's upfront non-tax money, but you use that, and then you claim that on your taxes at the end of the year. Okay, so you can be safeguarded with that. You can be safeguarded with that. So with the insurance counselor, if you say, well, gee, ma'am, I don't have $2,600. Okay. Some offices, and it's discretionary. Some places they may say, okay, and I've had EGDs done before. Okay. They may say, okay, well, what card do you have that we can keep on file? Okay. Again, that falls under the NPP, the Notice of Privacy Act. And that's something different outside of the NPP of what we know for professions, but the Notice of Privacy Practices, and it falls also under HIPAA. Okay, so if they ask for a copy of your card, they're going to say, okay, well, what can you come into the office with? Because we need no less than $600 to do the procedure. And then the rest will break down. So you bring $600, and then they keep your card, the front and back of it, a copy of it, or a written part of it. Not so much a copy, but they'll write down the numbers and everything. And then you sign a form saying that you've given the physician's office to deduct an amount every time you get paid. Okay, in order to pay out that $2,600. Okay, that's how that works. And so once you do that, then you can go ahead and have your procedure. Yes, it is unfortunate to have these high deductibles. It's very unfortunate to pay premiums. A lot of us can't afford the premiums that we pay per month through our paychecks or through healthcare reform. But insurance is insurance, and my heart goes out to everyone. I pay for it. My husband pays for it himself. I've paid for it times past. Trust me, I've been there, done that. I know the feeling. I know the crush. So that's what that does. Okay. Let's move on to the next title of what that is. And I also want to put a caveat out there. What is not mentioned on here, what should be mentioned, is a secondary or tertiary biller. Secondary or tertiary biller. And a secondary biller, what they do is they take the EOB that comes back from the insurance company of what the primary biller has billed, insurance company may have paid, okay, and then they take that and apply it along with another HIC for 1500 form and send it to that secondary insurance. Okay, that's known as a secondary biller. A secondary biller is also one that deals with coordination of benefits. So if they are children, sometimes they have billing for mom through mom's insurance. Sometimes they may have billing through dad's insurance. Okay, and so under the birthday rule for the coordination of benefits, whoever birthdays come first is whose insurance get processed first, then the second parent. Okay, now if you're billing for a person that's on Medicare, okay, you as a secondary biller, if that person has Medicaid, then you will bill Medicaid second. Okay, depends on their qualification, their age, and their disability. Okay, how those roles, because sometimes they could be a child and they have Medicaid first, then Medicare. But if they of a certain disability, certain age, then it's Medicare, then Medicaid. Okay, that's how that works. Now, let's suppose you're an elderly person and you've done well. You say you're a squirrel. You saved all your nuts. You got your 401k working for you. You got your retirement. You got Aetna as your Medicare replacement instead of traditional Medicare. Okay, but let's suppose you have physicians health, which is a popular secondary insurance. And let's suppose you've also taken out a third healthcare insurance. Okay, so that means you are a tertiary biller. Okay, and those are rare. So a tertiary biller rebills what the first and second biller bills. So they take the EOB from the first insurance, they take the EOB from the second insurance, and they send it to the third insurance. Those folks are rare. Okay, those are rare positions. A collections manager. Ooh, we all hate the collections manager. Oh my God. I see them on my phone. Potential spam. Did void. Okay. Jane laughing out loud in my ear is so true. Okay. But it is true. It is true. I see potential spam. No, don't want to answer that today. No, not today. Not today. So I'm just being real. Okay. So here we are with the collections manager. So a lot of times you get those beautiful letters in the mail, right? And they don't come from Dr. So and so's office necessarily, or maybe even a popular healthcare facility necessarily, or a popular hospital facility necessarily. They come from a company that does this all day, every day. Okay. And what happens is at a facility, be it be it outpatient, inpatient, or at a physician's office, you have the aging report. Okay. A lot of us in medical billing in some form or fashion need to be familiar with the aging report. Let me tell you what that is in a minute. Hold on. So with the aging report, a 60-day, I'm sorry, you have 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Sometime it go all the way up to 180 days. We just grace you. We'll keep sending out that beautiful letter every 30 days. We keep hoping that you pay. When you come into the person's office, we're gonna say, uh Monique Jones. I don't know a Monique Jones, so please don't email me or put on my YouTube. You talking about me? No, I'm not talking about you. I don't know a Monique Jones. Okay, but let's suppose Monique Jones coming to the office. Okay, and then Monique Jones checks in, and you say, "Okay, Miss Jones, hold on just a minute," and then they're gonna email and let the collections manager know that she's checking in. And so that manager going to come out. Ma'am, could you step over here so I can talk to you? Okay. You have an outstanding balance. Okay. You have an outstanding balance of $459. Ma'am, we understand you're here to see the physician. Is there anything you could pay towards your $459 outstanding balance? Okay. Um, Now, there are some inside practices that I have done in times past as a healthcare consultant, and it works. And that I've done. I won't share it on this YouTube. I'll share it individually later. However, if that patient could pay something towards that, that'll be great. Then that lets us know that you really care about your physician. Because believe it or not, every 30 days, your physician should have an end of the month meeting. If they don't have it every 30 days, they should have it every 60 days. But they really should have it every 30 days because they need to know what all was collected. They need to look at their collection sheet, what balances. Some of them, I'm not saying they don't care. I'm saying some of them don't have time to look at it and put it nicely. Some of it choose not to want to look at it because they trust your work. But some of them do. I have a pain management doctor. I mean, he said some things to me, and I was like, Doc, I'm at 100%. So, And so he was like, oh, okay, Miss Harper. Okay, yeah. So anyway, we had that nice little conversation. But however, so anyway, with that, you have to make sure that the patient pays something. Now, if it goes over 90 days, 180 days, depends on the discretion of your practice manager, depends on the discretion of your um, physician, then those accounts get sold to a collections agency. Okay. And then the collections agency will divvy them up according to, what account is what. And then they have collection representatives to call your house and to mail stuff out. And a lot of times, if they work it out and say you owe $459, if you pay 300, we'll excuse everything else. They get a bonus off of that. Truly, they get a bonus for working that. Okay. So if you don't mind the belligerent responses, the hanging up the calls, all that, and it's not all bad, but if you're a person that don't mind all that, then collections is for you. I know that is not for me in so much, but I've done it, and no, that's not me. Okay, so coding specialist, a medical coding specialist. Let me differentiate that. Some people say, "Oh, what do you teach? Or what do you do?" Coding specialist. Oh, well, so you teach IT where? You do IT? No, no. So let me differentiate. There's a difference between IT coding, okay, and medical coding. So I always like to differentiate and make sure I put out there medical coding. This is not IT stuff that cute little kids do and adults do. No. Um, and so, sometimes you have to be careful. Sometimes I told students, make sure you bring a pen, pencil, and a tablet to class. And they say, and I say, well, where's your tablet? And they go, ma'am, it's $200. I don't have the money for that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Sweetie, a writing tablet. A writing tablet. Bring a writing tablet to class. So I keep forgetting how things are evolving with some of these terminologies and what you mean. Okay, so I would tell these beautiful students, bring a writing tablet to class. And I mean one and I show a demonstration, a paper one, paper. I'm not asking your parents or you to go and buy one. No, buy a inexpensive product. No, that's not it. Okay. So what a medical coding specialist does, they abstract information from the SOAP notes or from the physician notes or from the notes in the hospital. And then they put them into numbers. Okay. And those numbers are diagnosis codes. That's a number. It tells what's wrong with the patient. And then they have CPT numbers, sort of coding procedural terminology. Okay, those are procedures to tell what the doctor did. So diagnosis is what's the matter or what's the problem with the patient, and then the procedure coding tells what the doctor did, how much time, things of that nature. Okay, and we put those into numbers. Now, there's different higher forms of them. There's inpatient or acute care medical coding specialist or a physician coding specialist, certified coding specialist. You have one for the hospital, one for the physician office. You have one for risk management. You have one for documentation specialist. It's a whole slew of them. If you go on the AHIMA website, AHIMA, or if you go on AAPC, there's a whole slew of them, whole lot of them. Okay. So I really would admonish you to go and look at all that up and just keep your mind open. And then while you're doing that, look at the job titles, Google up the job titles and look what all is entailed in that. And sometimes you'll figure out, yeah, that is me. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, and some employers will give you a chance. Okay. Electronic claims professional. It electronic claims professional is one the same thing as a medical billing specialist. They make sure there's a certain electronic claims form for physician offices. It's the same thing as the CMS 1500, but there's a different terminology name for it, and I can't get it off the top of my head. Um, but they make sure everything is put in its proper place. And then if it gets rejected back as a dirty claim, it may have, and I think Jane has mentioned this once before, it may have the wrong date of birth, it may have the wrong gender, you may have the dad instead of the son. Sometimes mothers have daughters named after them. You may have the daughter instead of the mother. Different things like that. So it's up to the electronic claims professional to resend that. Sometimes you have to print out the actual CS 1500. It doesn't look like the actual red paper form that we all know as medical billing specialists know, but its format is somewhat the same. Or it may look like a super bill. Okay. And you can also use a super bill in processing your claims as well. It depends on what claims processing software that you're using and what clearinghouse that you're using that complements that software. Okay, let's move on to number 5. Let's move on to number 5. Okay. Oh, is it number 4? Did we talk about number 4? Oh no, we talked number 5. Number 5. Okay. So yeah, number 5. List. So number 5 says list some of the responsibilities and duties of an insurance billing specialist that might perform generally as well as acting as a collections manager. Refer to job responsibilities on page 4 through 9. Jane, would you like to name one? Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Let me list off some that I have here too, but everything you said is correct. Let me list what they have here. They have review diagnostic and procedural codes. You said that for correctness and completeness. Yes. Submit insurance claims promptly. Yes. We'll talk about that. Submitting claims promptly. Um, the statute of limitations. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Um, Collect data from hospitals, laboratories, other physicians involved in a case. You said that. Very good. Discuss practice, financial policies, insurance coverage, negotiate payment plans. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Answer routine inquiries related to account balances and insurance submission dates. Assist patients in setting up payment schedules in their budgets. Follow up on a delinquent account by tracing denied, adjusted, or unpaid claims. Okay. So those are some of the things that are the job responsibilities for an insurance billing specialist. Okay. Number 6, list the duties of a claims assistant professional. List the duties of a claims assistant professional. And again, those positions, they're out there, but they're not as, how can I say, popular in title, but you can try to Google it and see if they're out there. But again, that's something that you would do if you were to do externship. So externship is in lieu of hours, school hours that you have to practice and do. Internship is when you're finished with the class, you're finished with the program, but you're doing it. You could do it while you're in school, but you're getting paid for it. Externship, you're not. Internship, you are. There's a big difference. Okay. All right. Yes. For a medical billing specialist, does normally. Okay, yeah, very good, Jane. Very good. For a category of that claims assistant professional, if they were to do it while they're in school, then that would be an externship. They would not get paid for it, but they'll get hours credited to them, which is part of their school program. And then they graduate school. That's the only way you can graduate school is by completing your externship hours. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so number six, let's see here. A, so let me list some things because we're going into the second hour. Help patient organize, file, and negotiate health insurance claims of all types. They assist the consumer in obtaining maximum benefits from insurance companies. So they'll tell them you're out of pocket. Sometimes you may have met your out of pocket. Ma'am, you don't owe a copay. You don't owe co-insurance. You're at 100%. Um, Tell the patient what checks to write to providers to make sure that there's no overpayment. Okay, so that's what a claims assistant professional does. Okay. Number seven is it says here insurance claims must be promptly submitted within blank business days to ensure continuous cash flow. And they say 1 to 3 business days to ensure continuous cash flow. So that comes back to that conversation about statute of limitations. If you are a medical biller, I'm not going to say all billers are lazy. There are some out there. Yes, there are. Um, but if you're one that don't get your claims in billed daily like you're supposed to within really 14 days of the insurance company policies, you stand to not get paid. Okay. And the insurance companies do not have to pay you. Okay. Because you did not file in time. Now, if you appeal, a lot of times they would pay you within a certain kind of rider or clause, if it's not over 30 or 60 days. Sometimes they would do that. But if you missed it, that 14-day window, you have to do some appeals process and everything. Everything comes with paper trail. Hate to say it, but it's paper trail. And everything comes with work. So if you're the one that you don't stay on top of your game, you will have to pay that price and you will have to answer to that practice manager or physician. What were you doing in your 8 and 9 hours of time? And if they paid you overtime and you were still behind, what were you doing that whole, 50 hours of work week? You got to give accountability of your work. So everything is production based. Everything every ounce of your time matters. Yes, you can have a break. Yes, you can have lunch break. Yes, you can leave early and come in and stay longer the next day. It's at the discretion of your practice manager in where you work. But you got to make sure that your um, production of work pays off the hours of what you've done at the end of the week. Okay. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail later. Number eight, eight. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, Jane. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. If you yeah, so insurance claims must be promptly submitted within 1 to 3 business days to ensure continuous cash flow. Okay, that's the rule right there. But if you're one that says, okay, the clearinghouse kicked back 10 dirty claims, I'm gonna get to those tomorrow. I'm gonna get to those tomorrow. I'm gonna get to those tomorrow. And that ends up being over 14 days because you letting all those dirty claims stack up, then that's gonna be a problem. But yes, you are absolutely correct. Correct. It is supposed to be promptly submitted within 1 to 3 business days, but you do have, how can I say, that cushion to get it in there within 14 days. You do have, yes, 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 ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, yes, ma'am. And so if you're one that just lets stuff stack up and you say you'll get to it, you get to it, and all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I'm on the 13th day. You better stay there and get that done. You better eat in for lunch. You go to the restroom, come right back. You can't stop and say, hey Mary, what's going on? How was your kid? You can't do none of that. You got to stay working. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good question. Good question, Jane. Okay, so number 8. Define cash flow. Cash flow is the amount of actual money available to the medical practice. Okay, that's what cash flow means. Let's move on to number 9. Number 9 is reasons for a medical practice large accounts receivable are, okay, so they have failure, late billing. All right, Jane. Late billing. Oh, I just said that. Did I not say that, Jane? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Hello. Hello. Okay. Failure to verify insurance plan benefits. Okay. Now, I'm not mad if the person that set up the appointment, they set it up that morning and that person come that afternoon. Okay. Sometimes you can catch them, sometimes not. Sometimes you can put a note on the desk and the person still forget. Sometimes you can email the insurance verifier and say, hey, I put this person in to come in at 2 o'clock and it's 10 o'clock. They made the appointment. Okay. Things happen. You may tell the patient, okay, just have a seat and that person get to it. I'm not speaking laziness on that part. Okay. But if that person made an appointment 3, 4, 5 days, a week later, and you just sat on it, then that speaks something about you, the person, the employee. Okay. Failure to obtain authorization and pre-certification. Okay. Authorization is where they come in and they see the physician for 3 office visits. Sometimes you could take the same authorization number and extend it for another 3 office visits. Extend it as much as you can until they give you a new authorization number. Pre-certification is if you're having a procedure that's well over the office visit cost. Okay, that could be an EGD, that could be to have a colonoscopy, something like that. That would require pre-certification. Sometimes, if you know that the lady is pregnant and she's going to have the baby, that requires pre-certification. Okay, so utilization review have to be notified. Okay, and give you that pre-cert. Okay, failure to collect copays or deductibles. It is against the law, not against the law, but it's a bad practice not to collect the copay. You're supposed to collect the copay. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you have to make sure deductibles, you have to make sure. Now, we don't per se collect the deductibles, but you collect the procedures that get filed towards the deductibles. Okay. And you can send the HICFA form in and acknowledge it on the HICFA form that this amount, and then some sort of way in their system, they would put that towards the deductible. Okay, and inadequate claims filing. Okay, again, if you're rushing to get work done, you put male instead of female, you put female instead of male, you put 1968 instead of 1969, and you get all those dirty claims kicking back at you because you're not paying attention. That's what this says. And you're not focused. You may have a lot of things on your mind. then you need to take a step back and say, you know what, I need some help, or have that confidential conversation with your boss, and just say, I really need some help. I'm going through something. I'm not thinking clear. Please make that known, because everything you put in, and when you press that beautiful button, that's money going through the system. That's serious money. Okay. Okay, number 10. Number 10 says skills required for an insurance billing specialist are knowledge of medical terminology. We'll talk about that. Knowledge of insurance terminology. We'll talk about that. Proficiency in completing insurance claims. Knowledge of procedural and diagnosis coding. Knowledge of anatomy and physiology, disease and treatment, which is surgical, drug, and laboratory terms. Computer skills, basic typing and or keyboarding. Medical legal knowledge. Knowledge of insurance carriers and Medicare policies and regulations, basic math and use of calculator, billing and collection techniques, precise reading skills, proficiency in assessing information via the internet, expert in legalities of collection on accounts, use of photocopy and facsimile equipment, knowledge of compliance issues. Okay. Number 11 says standards of conduct by which insurance billing specialist determines the proprietary of his or her behavior in a relationship is known as medical ethics. Okay. Um, Number 12, it says here complete the statements with their word illegal or unethical. So, number A, letter A, it says to report an incorrect information, to report incorrect information to the Aetna Casualty Company is it illegal or unethical? Jane, what is it? Okay, I'm on page 5. Yeah, I'm on. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, and do you see your number 12? It has should have an A, B, and C. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So to report incorrect information to the Aetna Casualty Company, is it illegal or unethical? What do you think? What do you think? Unethical. It's very unethical. Very good. It's very unethical. Hmm. To report incorrect information to a Medicare fiscal intermediary, is it illegal or unethical? Illegal. Very good. Very good. Very good, Jane. In certain circumstances, it may be blank for two physicians to treat the same patient for the same condition. Is it unethical or illegal? Yeah, it is. It is. It is both. You're right, Jane. It is both. It is illegal and unethical. Yes, it is against the law. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Now, let me give a caveat to that. Unless they put it in the notes as a second opinion and they use a modifier. Yes, then they can get, yes, they use a modifier to state that. Then they can get paid. Okay, but they can't have the same kind of findings, the same kind of this. And then they say, I'm like, no, she already had this. No, we already paid for that. No, so if you put it as a second opinion with a modifier, then it get paid. Very good, Jane. Very good. But the terminology that they want for that is unethical. unethical. But you're right. Yeah, I agree with you on a whole note. It's both to me, in my opinion, in our opinion. Number 13, when a yes, it's unethical. That's the answer. Okay, number 13. When a physician is legally responsible for an employee's conduct during employment, it is known as, and there's a Frenchy word for it. Okay, it's known as okay. I know you know it. I know you know it. It's at the tip of your tongue. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's at the tip of your tongue. It starts with a R. It starts with a R. Respondit. It's okay, Jane. It's a respondit superior. Mm-hmm. Respondit superior. Yeah, it's okay. I knew it was there. I knew it was there. I could feel it. Um, but another way of saying it is vicarious liability. Vicarious liability. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, yeah. That physician or that practice manager is liable. They're liable for that. Okay. And and I could give a recent example, but I won't do that here. But yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, bless your heart. Okay. She go, oh, okay. I missed that. I missed that. I'm so used to hearing you say that, Jane. I missed that. She go, oh, okay. Okay. Um, a claims, number 14, a claims assistant professional neglects to submit an insurance claim to a Medicare supplement insurance carrier within the proper time limit. What type of insurance is needed for protection against the loss of their client? Okay, and that is errors and omissions insurance. Yeah. Here that robocall is. There that robocall. Click. I just had to laugh. I'm sorry. I just had to have that. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Click. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. No, let's go on to part two. I'm still on page 5. I'm still on page 5. Okay. So true or false. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Okay, number 21. Physicians are paid according to relative value units that are based on cost of delivering care and malpractice insurance and the physician's work. Is that true or false? I'm on Oh, girl, I'm on 15. Lord, how did I jump down to that? Okay, I'm sorry, honey. I did. Okay, okay. Oh, oh, Jane, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, okay. Okay, let two other times. Oh, okay, okay. My bad. My bad. My bad. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Jane. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm on number 15 on number 5, girl. Okay. That robocall threw me off. Okay. All right. Yes. I'm like click. Mm-mm. Okay, so okay. Number 15, two billing components are facility billing and professional billing. Professional billing is done for what? What is professional billing done for? The answer is D, physicians. Professional billing is done is done for physicians. Mhm. Yes. Okay, numbers yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Number 16, physician extenders are healthcare personnel trained to provide medical care under direct or indirect supervision of a physician, such as, and number 16 is C, NPPs, non physician practitioners. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, number seven. Yeah. Number 17, the individual responsible for documenting the patient's clinical notes and assigning a diagnosis code and procedure code for medical service rendered is number 17 is A, physician. Mhm. Number 18, an individual cross trained to function in more than one job is known as, number 18 is known as D, multi skilled health. Okay. Number 19, third party payers that require the provider to submit insurance claims for the patient are, number 19 is A. Mhm. Federal and state. Mhm. Federal and state programs. 20. Let me find my book, and then I have to come back and elaborate on it. You put a pin right there, Jane, and then remind me to talk about it. Put a pin right there, and I'll come back and revisit it. I'll gladly come back and revisit it. No problem. No problem. Um, Number 20. Facility billing is charging for services done by D, both A and C. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, let's look at 21. Okay. Let me read. Physicians are paid according to relative value units that are based on cost of delivering care, malpractice insurance, and the physician's work. Okay, is that true or false? What do you believe that is? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the answer is going to be true. It's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it will throw you off. It will throw you off. Yeah. Yeah, it will throw you off. That's right. Number 22. It is not necessary to refer to coding books because medical practices use a fee schedule. Is that true or false? False. Exactly. Exactly. Number 23. Um, it is the coder's responsibility to inform administration or his or her immediate supervisor if unethical or illegal coding practices are occurring. Okay, very good. That is true. That is true. Moving on to number six. Moving on to number six. Moving on to number six. Um, I'm sorry, page six, honey. You know what I'm talking, right, Jane? Okay, page six. Okay, 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 okay. Thank you, honey. Okay, number 24. When one code is available that includes all of the services, it is permissible to build using separate codes for services. Is that true or false? False. Very good, Jane. Depending on circumstances of the case, an insurance billing specialist can be held personally responsible under the law for billing errors. It's true, true. Very, very good. Here's a critical thinking note. Here's a critical thinking note. Let's see what else they got in here. Okay. They say to enhance your critical thinking skills, problem will be interspersed throughout um, the workbook. Thinking is the goal of instruction and a student's responsibility. When trying to solve a problem by critically thinking or critical thinking, it is desirable to have more than one solution and to take time to think out answers. Remember that an answer may be changed with additional information that is provided in the classroom setting. Okay, so just some critical thinking. I would say there should be some critical thinking in your handbook. Is there some um, answers or something set up where it says critical thinking? It should it may have some side notes in there. If not, um, yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Read that out to me, Jane. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So, based on your experience from what you remember, and you can go and all those beautiful titles that we talked about in today's lesson, look at the job descriptions. Look at the job descriptions. And then I want you to also Google, um, though not Google, sorry, YouTube those jobs or the life of a medical biller, the life of a medical coding specialist, the life of a insurance special medical insurance specialist. Google those type of things, and then you will get an idea of critical thinking. How do you see yourself in that? Do you see yourself doing that? Do you see yourself coming back to that? Do you see yourself enhancing that? Or where do you see yourself in all of that? Okay. And if you missed what I said, it's on video here, so you can always revisit it. Yeah, you can always revisit it. Yeah, not right now. Yeah, do that later. And then I don't know if I gave you my email. I'll give you my email where you can send it to me through email, and just put in the subject heading your name, and then put critical thinking. Chapter one, critical thinking, chapter one, and then that'll be it. So it's 12:42. You have any other questions you want to talk about? Anything else you want to enhance about? Maybe. Okay. Okay. Okay, so you read the handbook. You read the handbook. No, it's okay. No, no, I just need to know where were you, so that way. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And that's not your fault. That's my fault because my handbook is not where I normally keep it, and I have my workbook, but I don't have access to my handbook, and I need to find it. So that's not an error on your part. That's an error on my part. Yeah. So that's not you. That's me. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No. No. You're fine. Oh yeah, you're fine. That was my fault. When you initially asked me that, I should have thought it through and I should have said yes, please, do your workbook. Yeah, along with chapter 1. And that was my inside head. And so what was going on inside my head, I didn't verbalize it out my mouth. And I should have verbalized that out my mouth. It would have been easier. Yeah. Mhm. Okay, sweetie. So, moving forward, if you can do chapters 2 and through 3. So we're going to try to kind of kick it up a little bit, the speed of things. And I want you to do the worksheets in there in chapters 2 and 3. And then we'll kick it up a little bit faster here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, sweetie. All righty. Well, I enjoyed you today. Did you have any other questions for me? Oh, okay. Uh, Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. And any other way I can, break it down for you even more, or if you have any other questions, just text me. Just text me, sweetie.